Hey there, welcome to the Super Coach Show. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. Follow me at Micheal Burt, Micheal, because everybody needs a good coach in life. And we're here to do really three things every single week on the Whatever It Takes Network. Multiply your life, multiply your money, and multiply your business. And let me tell you what a good coach will do. I have conversations with you don't want to have. I'm going to make you do some things you don't want to do, but hopefully help you become something you did not think you could become. And we always here at the Super Coach Show find the kryptonite in your life. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. Every week we come to, you can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Republic. You can watch the show on Whatever It Takes Network, Grant Cardone. Follow us on Twitter and all the social media outlets. Today we're talking something that a lot of people struggle with, really for no real reason. We're going to talk about how to take your, what most people call elevator pitch, and turn it into money. How do you take what some people call your elevator pitch and turn it into money faster? Because how many times in your life do you believe that you get asked this question? What do you do? If you venture outside your office at all, if you go to any social event, if you meet any stranger in the world, it's the first question that comes out of everybody's mind. Hey, what do you do, right? And so most people get nervous. They freeze up. They're like a deer in the headlight, and they sit there and they mumble some commotitized answer. They mumble some commoditized answer that really doesn't get the attention of other people. And what it really does is put them in a category of a saturated and commoditized space. So for most people, guys, it's a trap. It's one of the biggest traps in the world. So today we're going to talk about how you as a professional come up with an explanation of services, what we're going to call an EOS, an explanation of services, and how do you go out there and say something of real value. How do you say something interesting? How do you say something compelling? How do you say something attractive versus something boring, disinteresting, and even repelling? Because here's what I'm going to ask you to know. Would you rather know in the first 15 seconds if you have a live one or not? That means somebody that you'd like to do business with. Or would you rather chase someone for 15 months? Now, we're going to ask our guest, Tom Love, who I think is the EOS guru in the world. We're going to ask him how to walk us through a great explanation of services. He's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. So here's the point. Tom has come in to coach me. He's come in to coach my team. And I have begun to understand that an explanation of services is incredibly valuable. It's incredibly valuable to every single part of this equation. And let me tell you why. To me, you don't have any confidence until you have a great EOS. You don't have any clarity until you have an EOS. You don't have any positioning until you have an EOS. And if you want to speed up your sales velocities, you have got to have a great explanation of services. Now, let's break it down so you really get this. Let me give you some general rules as we go throughout the show before we bring Tom on to coach us in what a great EOS is, because I bet every single person in the world out there has frozen on this. Matter of fact, one of my favorite clients, Tammy Coleman, was at lunch the other day. I was eating with another person, and she's in our Monster Producer Coaching Program, and she walked over to our table, and I said, "Hey, Tammy, how are you doing?" And guess what the first question was out of my friend Sean Miko's mouth? "What do you do?" And Tammy said, "I sell real estate." And I'm thinking, no, Tammy, no. What you really do is turn dreams into addresses. That's what you really do. You do it through the profession of real estate. And so I'm going to give her a mulligan because she's one of my favorite clients. When you get this opportunity, I've already had it this week at least 3 or 4 times on phone calls, in emails, in text messages, in sales meetings. You got to have this down. You have got to have it ready. So let me break it down with some 4 rules before we get started. Number 1, this is important. They tell us if you make a bad first impression, that it takes 21 positive interactions to overcome the first negative impression. Let me say that again. You think EOS is not important? They tell us if you make a bad first impression, it takes 21 positive interactions to overcome the first negative one. I made a pretty bad one this week at least one time. I don't know if I can recover from it because I didn't hone it out. I didn't share it. Number 2, people make decisions fast. They make decisions fast. If you do this right, if you give a great explanation of services, if you clearly articulate your value, then you'll know within the first 15 seconds if you have a potential prospect or not. You don't have to chase for 15 months. And here's the even better part. You'll make a decision if you want to work with them, not just them interviewing you. Number 3, all big-time professionals memorize their EOS so they can give it at a moment's notice. When called upon in any environment, they don't blow potential opportunity by bumbling around and saying something that everybody else is saying. The brain loves new, it loves novel, it loves different. Hence, zebra. The brain loves something that looks different. Number 4, amateurs BS their way through some pitiful answer that sounds Bush League, portraying them exactly what they are. They're Bush League amateurs, and that's why big-time people don't want to work with them. So today we're talking how to turn your explanation of services into money faster. And by the end of this conversation with Tom Love, who's joining us right after the break, we're going to come in there and we're going to tackle how you take this explanation of services and become world class at it. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. You're watching the Super Coach. And we come back in segment number 2. We're going to get some coaching from the greatest EOS guy in the world, Mr. Tom Love. He's who coached me. And we're going to show you how to take this explanation of services and turn it into money. Come on back in segment 2 on the Super Coach. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. Come and spend 2 days with me and learn every trick, every strategy, every tool, every technique I use to become a person of interest. I've got my Person of Interest Mastery course coming May 13th and 14th outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Spend 2 days with me, dinner with me, time with our staff, and I'll teach you every strategy on how to become the celebrity in your space that dominates. You get licensed in the content to teach it for money. You get all of the content with the books, the QR books, and all the handouts and PowerPoints. Come spend 2 days with me. Person of Interest Mastery. You'll walk away and be the dominant player in your space. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt. Welcome back to the Super Coach Show. Every week we multiply your life, your money, and your business. Today we're talking how to turn your elevator pitch. I'm calling it that. But it's really not an elevator pitch. It's really your explanation of services, your EOS. How do you turn this into money, baby? How do you share it? How do you attract people to you? How do you give it in a way that breeds confidence and clarity and direction for other single people? And joining us today on the show, my very first guest, coming into you hot today, is Mr. Tom Love. Tom, welcome to the Super Coach Show, my friend. Tom, are you with us? I got a good picture of him, but I'm not seeing him on here. All right, he's going to be joining us in just a second. Tom Love's going to be talking about how we take this EOS and turn it into money. So I said in segment number 1, there's a couple things you need to know. Number 1, this is important, baby. This is important, man. Why would you not take time and energy to work on your explanation of services? How many times in your life are you going to get asked, what do you do for a living? And how many times have you dropped the ball? How many times have you bumbled around? How many times have you dropped a good first impression that had a chance to make some money, either on the phone, in an email, and in a text? So let me go through, as we want Tom on the phone here, let me go through a couple key things that you need to know as it relates to what a good EOS looks like. I believe, Tom's going to talk to us on this, I believe that there's about 6 components of a great explanation of services. So let me give you some examples. Number 1, you always start with what you believe versus what you do. Now let me say that again. People are going to ask you what you do for a living. This is a commodity trap. This is a big trap that they want you to respond in a way. Oh, I sell real estate. Oh, I'm in life insurance.
I am not on mute.
Oh, I'm here. Okay. All right. Good. Tom, you're with us, right? I heard him for a second, Lauren. You can bring him in here in just a second. I heard him for just a second. So the first step is, number 1, you got to start with what you believe versus what you do. For example, at the very beginning of this show, I said, I believe everybody needs a coach in life because a good coach can change your life. And then many times I ask people, do you have a good coach? Have you ever had a good coach in your life? A lot of people say, oh yeah, I've had a good coach. And if they don't answer that question, I say, have you ever had a bad coach? Have you ever had a bad coach? And almost everybody says yes. So I say, then you know the importance of having a good coach in your life. First thing I do, start with what I believe versus what I do. First step. Number 2, tell us why you believe it. So first, hey, here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it, okay? I believe everybody needs a coach in life. Here's why I believe it, okay? Then I pivot to telling other people what it is you do because of this belief. So remember this, we don't start with what we do, we start with what we believe. Then we share why we believe it. Then we share what we do as a result of that belief. So I put, because of this belief, I engage people in a set of systematic and consistent behaviors that allows them to do something tomorrow they simply cannot do today. And I do that through ongoing and systematic coaching. Now, I want to stop right here and bring it back home. What is a good explanation of services? Start not with what you do, but what you believe. Number 2, tell me why you believe it. That gives me a chance in the first 15 seconds to believe the same thing you do. And if I believe the same thing you do, then why in the world would we not have a partnership with each other? Right? Because we believe the same things. Number 3, because of that belief, tell me what it is you do, okay? I'm talking about what you really do. A lot of people think I'm a life coach, a motivational speaker, so I have to explain to them what it is I really do. And so this is very important that you know what it is you do. Some people say, oh, I sell life insurance. Well, I'm in the real estate business. Oh, I do this. I build homes for a living. What is it that you really do? Number 4, now that you told me what you do, why don't you share how you do it different than everybody else? This is the differential. This is the zebra. This is what makes you stand out. This is what makes you different in the minds of the consumer. So I focus on the whole person versus one part of people's nature. Because of my unique background as a former championship coach who has an entrepreneurial mind, I'm versatile across multiple disciplines. And I provide thought-provoking strategies to wake people up to their own potential. Sometimes I help people catch lightning in a bottle. Now, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say something interesting versus boring. Something compelling versus repelling. I'm trying to attract, and I'm doing that by sharing what I believe. Why I believe it. What do I do because of that belief? How do I do it differently? And then, step 5 and 6, here's all the people we've done it for. This is social proof. This is science of consensus. When you understand this, then you begin to believe that, hey, if you're doing it for all of those people, why in the world are you not doing it for me? We finish with a very important part of this equation, which is a call to action. If this sounds good to you, and if I could do this for you, then why in the world wouldn't we get started and be partners? Today we're turning your elevator pitch into money, and we're doing it faster because now you got confidence, now you got clarity, now you got direction, now you got positioning, now you know what it is you do, why you do it, who you do it for, how you do it different, and now you got the guts to man up and say, if I could do it for you, what in the world would keep us from being started? Keep us from getting started. Today you're watching the Super Coach Show. Turn your elevator pitch into money, baby. That's what we're talking. Come on back in segment number 3. We're going to keep moving this ball down the field on how you speed up how fast you articulate your services. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt here. I believe everybody needs a coach in life, and that's why I'm inviting you to join me in the Big Apple, baby. The monster city on the planet, New York City, April 17th and 18th. Spend 2 days in an immersion type experience with me at my Monster Producer Summit. I'm going to teach you the 7 frameworks of a monster producer. I'm going to teach you how to take monster action, a monster explanation of services, monster selling system, how to get monster attention, how to keep your monster swag, and ultimately how to build a monster enterprise. For $499, join me at the Sheraton, New York City, Times Square for 2 days, 8 hours. Spend some personal time with Coach if you're serious about being a legendary creature this year that dominates every field by combining multiple skill sets. Go to CoachBurt.com or email us at info@CoachBurt.com to sign up at $499, 2 days with me. This will be a monster experience. Hey guys, welcome back to the Super Coach Show. We multiply your life, money, and your business. You can follow me at Micheal Burt on Twitter. Follow me on LinkedIn. Search Coach Micheal Burt. Facebook. You can follow me anywhere, social media. Today we're talking turn your explanation of services into money. And I'm joined now by my first guest who's calling in, Mr. Tom Love, who I'm going to call the EOS guru. Tom, would you take that?
Oh, thank you.
Now, the explanation of services. You have coached me in this. We've collaborated on projects. We've got a quick read book coming out called Explanation of Services. One of the biggest questions that people get asked out there, and one of the first questions, and I heard it today, I heard it yesterday, I heard it at lunch, I heard it at dinner. What do you do for a living? Tom, why do so many bozos not see the importance of crafting an EOS?
So, well, Coach, thanks for having me on. I owe the clarity of where this is going to 2 people. One of them is yourself, your book, Person of Interest, where you learn to stop chasing and become and then listening to Simon Sinek, Start with Why. And a quote of Simon's just hit me between the eyeballs about 18, 20 months ago, and it was, people don't care what you do. They care why you do it, and what you do simply proves what you believe. So when asked the question, what do you do for a living, by default, you're going to fail because you're giving the person the what and not the why.
So when you hear that, and there's a term that it struck me that there's a term that I think Peter Thiel uses, who's a billionaire, and he calls it complex coordination. It's where you combine multiple ideas together to put them together in a framework. And you, when you came up with your EOS, for all the people listening, there were 3 big influences. One, Simon Sinek, Start with Why, based on the premise people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. They don't care what you do, they care why you do it. Also, Person of Interest, my book, about how you become a person other people want a piece of and cannot live without, and the Challenger Sale. And you combine those 3 books, and when did it hit you that this is a big moment, man? This is a big moment for people. I call it a moment of truth. But this is a point where you either compel or repel. You either attract or push away. When did it hit you that, man, this is a big moment that I have to really become world class at?
Coach, this was fascinating because when I look back at my business and realized all of the clients that I had that created the most headache for me were the clients that I had that I chased, that I tried to convince them to do what I wanted them to do. They were not really fully on board. They didn't believe what I believed. They didn't want what I want or desired what I wanted. They simply needed to be convinced. And your clarity in that book about who cares how many Twitter followers you have when no one's going to do anything with you. I would rather have 10 certifiable lunatic maniacs who hinge on everything I say. And that's kind of where all of this clarity opened up for me, where I'm stopping chasing. I'm going to give you 15 seconds to see if I want to do business with you, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. So you start sometimes with the statement of belief. Explain that, because when I heard you and you came in and worked with our team, my mind went to this. First, start with what you believe versus what you do. Tell me why you believe it. Tell me what it is you do because of that belief. Tell me how you do it maybe differently than other people. Tell me who you've done it for, and then ask me a question. If I could do it for you, what in the world would stop us from getting started? So you call different parts of this EOS a statement of belief. Explain that to the viewer.
Well, this really is the answer when given the question, what do you do for a living? You give your statement of fact. It should be, however, something that you're truly passionate about, something that you're proud of, something that you can prove if ever challenged. But it should be a part of your career that you most want to attract. And when you give this statement of fact, by memorizing the statement of fact, by memorizing the delivery of what you are about to say, gives you the privilege to focus on the reaction.
Yeah, earlier in the show, I said that most amateurs, they BS their way through this, right? They beat it with some pitiful answer that sounds Bush League, and it really portrays them. So one differential you have that gives you confidence is the memory of what it is you do, so you can call it upon at a moment's notice, because you never know when you're going to have to give this, right?
Never, exactly. And then each time you're asked, it could be answered differently depending upon the setting that you're in.
Speak to those settings, because a lot of people ask me, and I may ask you this question too to lead into this. What's the difference between an elevator pitch and an explanation of services?
Great question. An elevator pitch is the only purpose of an elevator pitch is to create interest in what you do. I don't want people who are interested in what I do. I want people who are hell-bent on wanting to do business with me, not just slightly interested. So while an elevator speech gives you some inclination of what it is that you do, it really doesn't ask for action. It doesn't bring you into the conversation.
Man, that is really good. Because to me, that's right. When you give an elevator pitch, you very seldom have a call to action. It's just, hey, this is what I do. You don't even really get into how you do it or how you do it differently. When you discuss inclusion, okay, so we got a statement of fact, and when you discuss inclusion, what does that mean?
To me, that means, again, if I can verbalize what I'm truly passionate about and why I am attracting clients, and if I can watch the body language of the person that I'm talking to, I can believe that they believe what I do, then I'm going to ask them, if I can do exactly the same thing for you, would you want to do business?
And if you're out there watching the show, man, this is good stuff. Because so when you go through this and say, if I could do this for you, exactly like I did for them, would you want to know more? Would you want to do business? We've got Tom Love, I consider one of the top EOS people in the world. He's got his own coaching programs. He's coaching big producers out there in his breakaway league. He's also in our coaching programs, and I've been fortunate to do some projects, collaborative projects with him. And we're going to come back, and when we do come back, we're going to talk about and ask Tom to give his explanation of services, because today we're talking how you turn this EOS into money, and the importance of being a professional and knowing exactly what it is you do, how you do it different, who you do it for, and a call to action to sign people up to do it with you. You're watching the Super Coach Show, and I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Hey guys, I'm Coach Micheal Burt. So many people around the country want coaching, but they don't think they can afford it. I heard this over and over and over. So just for you, I've created an online corporate membership where you get access to over 80 workshops a year. And here's the best part, $99. 5 workshops a month to 7 workshops a month with me, the Super Coach, on everything you can imagine. Sales, leadership, marketing, branding, positioning, all of our best stuff in workshops that you can now get online for just $99. Go to CoachBurt.com, sign up under memberships, and start getting some time with the Super Coach. I'll find the kryptonite in your life and help you play at another level. Show. Hey guys, welcome back to the Super Coach Show. Today we're talking turn your EOS into cash. If you're out there, follow me at Micheal Burt. You can listen to all of our podcasts. My favorite app is Stitcher. Just search Super Coach on Stitcher Radio or iTunes. You can listen to us, or you can go back and watch any of these on the Whatever It Takes Network. Come to you live every single Tuesday, 3 p.m. Today we're talking how do you turn your explanation of services into money. This is important. Most people never work on it. They never practice it. They never get ready. They bumble around. They stumble into some type of answer that is completely commoditized. They answer like the 2,000 other people that do what they do. So I brought in my good friend Tom Love. We've actually written a quick read book together to work on how you come up with this EOS. And every day, I'm telling you, Tom, I don't know that there's a day that goes by that I don't speak or say something about the EOS. Are you finding that in your business?
Absolutely. And one of the things I am most proud of is one of the young ladies in our group, not in the business. She's been 33 years in the business, but 7 months with me. She was giving her explanation of services to a potential client, and halfway through she stopped because she realized the person that she was talking to was not going to be who she wanted to do business with, and she cut the story short.
Now, and this is person of interest to the T, baby, right here.
Absolutely.
Because when you're a person of interest, you never chase business. And if you catch yourself trying to convince an unenlightened person that's not interested, then you can cut bait and run. Tom says, would you rather know in the first 15 seconds or would you rather chase somebody for 15 months? And when I heard him say that, I said, I'm in. So now, when I'm making pitches, and I do that every day in our business, either on the phone or in person or sometimes through email, I always start out with what I believe. I believe everybody needs a coach in life. And let me tell you why I believe that. Because of that belief, here's what we do, or here's what program we've created. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting who I want to work with. I'm attracting those people because, as Tom says, you'll know in the first 15 seconds based on body language, tone, inflection, whether they're giving you clues and nudges and bumps and invites. So, Tom, if you were to give your EOS to us today, for all the viewers that are out there watching today, what would that look like?
Well, I'm assuming it'll be a social setting where I do want the potential client as a customer. So I will use the three parts to the explanation of services. And I'll begin with, I've never had more fun in my life than I've had over the last couple of years. I help families identify tens of thousands of dollars each and every year that they're giving away unknowingly and many times unnecessarily. And the neat thing about our job is once we've identified this money, it's cost the client no money to get it. And second, they've had to increase their risk tolerance, not 0.1% to get it. And the neatest thing about what it is that we do, once we've identified the money, we bring it back, and you can use it immediately. On average, last year, our firm found over $50,000 per household in wealth that they had no idea that they were giving away. And if I sat down with you for 30 minutes and found you $50,000 of wealth that you had no idea that you were losing, would you want it back?
And I'm going to say yes. Yes, I would. And when I say yes, I would, then what's the next step for the viewer that's out there listening? What happens next? Is it a call to action with a meeting? Are you
Absolutely.
in? Okay, so it's a call to action, and then you're going to show us how you do it.
Correct. Then we're going to get into the how and what makes you unique. Absolutely. But in the first 15 seconds, I can read your body language because I've memorized the delivery. I can focus on the response. And if you are in tune to what I do, then I'm going to ask for an appointment. I'm going to secure a time where we could spend some quality time and figure out if we might be able to help you.
Now, when you say quality time, and you're a seasoned pro at this, when have you found is the best time to sit down? And would you consider what you do a complex sale? And when do you think the best time to sit down with someone is if you have a complex sale?
It is extremely complex. I'm going to challenge the way that you've been thinking about wealth for the last 50, 60 years of your life. So it is going to be completely complex. However, when we break it down into its most simple terms, it's pretty simple to understand. It is a complicated strategy, but the end result is very simple. We're going to create wealth that will be taxed as minimally as possible.
So when you think about that, have you found a time to typically sit down and do that? Is it weekends? Is it nights? Is it when the mind's fresh? Is it in the morning? I mean, based on your experiences, you've obviously landed lots of big clients in your day. What is the best time for a person to come in and share that once they do secure the appointment?
This was an interesting observation here over the last 18 months. Never at lunch. Never at lunch. You will lose more potential sales with a waitress that doesn't listen, food that's not prepared correctly, and they're not focused on your message. So the best time, I don't work on weekends, the best time is in the morning or in the early afternoon. But when you've got somebody with a work schedule that they don't get off until 5 o'clock, I would rather work on the weekend than having some professional who has had their brain compromised for 12 straight hours coming and listening to this.
See, this is good feedback for the people that watch our show every week, because I think a lot of us go out there and tackle it, and we try to sell people in the middle of lunch. We try to sell people at the end of a long, hard day. Their brain is fried. And if you have a complex sale, then you need to be thinking about when the best time is. Now, you said something that I want to pull out just for a second, Tom, and that is when you memorize the response, when you memorize the EOS, the explanation of services, that gives you the ability to hone in and listen and watch their body language instead of bumble around and be self-conscious about it, right?
Absolutely. When you think about it, and by the way, I've interviewed very, very successful people in the financial services business, and I ask them, what do you do for a living? And invariably, their eyes either go to the roof or they go to the floor. And they do that because they're not prepared. Now, they might have something in their background that they can probably recite, and it would make some sense, but nobody's ever practiced it. Nobody's ever spent the time. And it amazes me, it amazes me how many times, give me a second.
Sure. We're talking to Tom Love out there today, and we're talking about how to turn your explanation of services into money right here on the Super Coach Show. And Tom is going through some great, great points. If you're extracting these, I call it complex coordination, where you pull different ideas. He actually used my book, Person of Interest. You can get it at coachburt.com, or coachburt.com is the only place you can get it because it's an exclusive book with Simon Sinek's Start With Why, the TED Talk that you got to watch, and also the Challenger Sale, the book. And I just did a workshop yesterday. I'm doing one tomorrow on deconstructing the Challenger Sale, and he combined all of these things together to put together a great EOS that allows him to have confidence and clarity, know what he believes in the market and his position in the market. So if you want to learn more about that, all you got to do is join me at Person of Interest Mastery. That's coming up May 13th and 14th. We will go through your birthday gifts and money relationships. We'll go through your explanation of services. Or if you want to come to New York City and join me in the Big Apple, which is next weekend, we still have spots available. Just go to coachburt.com, and we will teach that as part of these courses. Tom, you back with us?
I am.
All right. Got you a drink of water? Got you so excited?
I did.
And I know you like to eat that cheeseburger right in the middle of the interview, right, man?
No.
So we're talking explanation of services, and the question was, when you memorize the EOS, it gives you the ability to listen and focus and read their response, which tells you are they interested or not with their body language versus bumbling around, looking up, being nervous, being scared to death. That's really why you need to memorize it, correct?
Absolutely. And when you think about it, when you're first asked, most people will recoil. They'll retract. They'll be introverted and trying to figure out where we should answer this and in what capacity. And as a result, we lose eye contact. And the first message that the person you're talking to gets is, you're unprepared. You don't know what you do for a living. And if you don't know what you do for a living and can quantify it, I don't know why I would want to do business with you. That's the subconscious that's gone on before you even have opened your mouth. So when someone asks, what do we do for a living? Anybody in my group, they're now owning their answer. They say it with conviction, with a smile on their face, because they truly are enthusiastic about what they do. And now they can focus on the way that it's being received. And if the body language from the person receiving is as excited as the person delivering it, then you've got a real potential client.
Now, let me tell you why this is so important. I brought Tom in to work with our team, one of the best things I've ever done. I went back and tweaked and changed my EOS. The very next day, I began to increase drastically the close ratios on my pitches. Just last week, I had a pitch over the phone, and I started off with what I believe. Man, I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Good coach can change your life. Have you ever had a good coach? And the person immediately said, yes, I have. Man, we're talking the same language. I hired a coach 2 years ago. Best decision I ever made. Now, what do I know? Within the first 15 seconds, I know I got a live one right here. I know I got somebody that's interested. That interest took 2 phone calls. We never met face-to-face. We just closed a deal for me to do an event for him in Atlanta, Georgia, because I started with what I believe versus what I do. Now, one more question for you, Tom, and then we'll let you go. I noticed that when you meet people, and let's say it's a social setting, and Tom does refer this in the EOS book, social setting, referral setting, formal setting, because there are different settings and how you deliver this. I noticed that you started off with something bold and almost something fun. You said, I've never had more fun in my life than over the last couple of years. So tell me why you start there, and what's the importance of grabbing their attention fast?
I want to do business with people that enjoy what they do.
Yes.
Period. I mean, it's that simple. And if you finally do memorize your EOS, and we get freshmen in our group that are memorizing it, and when they deliver it, it's very monotone and there's no enthusiasm, and it's just getting the skeleton of their presentation ready to go. But there's no inflection, there's no tone, there's no pause, there's no enthusiasm, and there's no smiling. I can't tell you how important it is just simply to smile when you're given what it is that you do.
Yes.
Be happy about it.
And you have really perfected this. You've really fine-tuned it. You've really become world-class at it. Other people come to you. You're speaking all over the country, and you're really helping. Because let's finish up with your part here on the show by telling, when you have a great explanation of services, how does it turn into money faster?
When you have someone who will listen to why you do what you do, and you can engage them to believe what you believe, then you are the person who is instrumental to help them get to where they want to be. And they will let you get them to where you both want to be, rather than fight you the whole time, argue with you, complain. I don't have that anymore.
You know, and that's the beauty of this. I'm telling you, I can tell you now, every single person, when I start off with what I believe, I can tell you if I've got a hero or a zero. Today we've been talking to Tom Love. Tom, thank you for being so gracious with your time and energy. Thank you for working through our technological issues, and always for being a great coach and mentor to me and the thousands of people that you're touching out there. And I look forward to the quick read version of EOS that's coming out very soon. It's got over an hour worth of dialogue and conversation with Tom and myself as we work through this very important thing, how you turn your explanation of services into money. Because I guarantee you, if you're in business or if you're not in business, the very first question people are going to ask you is, what do you do? Tom, thank you for joining us today. Come on back in segment 4, and I'm going to put a bow around this and give you the kryptonite for today on the Super Coach Show.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. Come and spend 2 days with me and learn every trick, every strategy, every tool, every technique I use to become a person of interest. I've got my Person of Interest Mastery course coming May 13th and 14th outside of Nashville, Tennessee. Spend 2 days with me, dinner with me, time with our staff, and I'll teach you every strategy on how to become the celebrity in your space that dominates. You get licensed in the content to teach it for money. You get all of the content with the books, the QR books, and all the handouts and PowerPoints. Come spend 2 days with me. Person of Interest Mastery. You'll walk away and be the dominant player in your space. Welcome back to the Super Coach Show. Coach Micheal Burt. Man, has this been fun today. I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. I believe a good coach can change your life. Tom Love has helped me tremendously with my explanation of services. So I'm going to finish the show with just a few key points here. I appreciate you hanging there with us through some of our technical difficulty, bringing Tom on for calling in today. He's out there in the country coaching folks. But I want you to know this. If you're a professional, you need to know how to articulate what it is you do. You need to be able to tell me what you believe and why you believe it. You need to be able to tell me what you do because of that belief. You need to be able to tell me how you do it differently than everybody else. You need to tell me who all you've done it for social proof. And at the very end, you need to say, if I could do this for you just like I did it for them, then what in the world would stop us from getting started? If you're serious about learning the explanation of services, how to turn this into money faster, I'm going to give you multiple opportunities today as a coach. I'm telling you, everybody needs a coach in life. Right now, we're running a special on our online memberships. I know we ran a commercial, said $99. It ain't even $99. It's $49.50 for the month of April. That's no April Fool's joke. So if you want to sign up today, go to coachburt.com, $49.50 online membership. Get coaching by me, access to 60 to 80 workshops per year. You can't beat that. Number two, if you really want to dig in and learn what Tom talked about from our book, Person of Interest, come on and join me May 13th and 14th outside of Nashville, Tennessee at our training facility for my Person of Interest Mastery class. You do get licensed. You do be able to share the content. You do get books. You do get the quick read version, and I will help you find your birthday gifts and who will compensate you for it. And if you're serious or serial about join the Monster Producer Coaching Program if you're ready to take it to the next level. I've got almost 37 monsters in our program, either in person or online, $3.99 a month, and that gets you a year's worth of coaching from me. You don't get somebody else, you get me coaching you. Guess what we cover in session number 2, baby? Explanation of services. Every week we come into your life. The show on Whatever It Takes Network, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and when we seek to multiply your life, to multiply your money, and to multiply your business, you can take this elevator pitch, graduate it from elementary school to high school, and then get it to the master's level to turn it into an explanation of services, and you can turn it into money. Everybody's got a little kryptonite in their life, and here's what the kryptonite is, in my opinion, guys. When you just step back and you think about it, your kryptonite's real simple. You don't understand the importance of a good EOS. You just don't understand. So you know what you do? You say the same thing everybody else says. You're an amateur. You don't believe in being a professional, so you put out a bunch of BS and garbage that commoditizes you. Number 3, when asked what you do, you freeze up. You lock down. You retreat. You contract. Or as Tom said, recoil. Okay? And number 4, you don't know what you believe and you can't articulate it. And because of that, I don't know if I believe the same thing you do or not. Give people a chance to believe what you believe. You'll know within the first 15 seconds if you got a live one. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Go out there this week, multiply your life, your money, and your business. Dominate a market in 2015. Go to monsterproducer.com. 2015 is the year of the monster. I'm talking about a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. You see, I got a new coaching program, and I'm looking for people who want to have a monster year. Once a month coaching program for 3 hours with other like-minded monsters in a structured environment with key measurable outcomes and lots of accountability. You see, the monster coaching program is coming, and we've already got 22 monsters signed up. Will you be in the class? Are you somewhere else in the country? No worries. We'll be live streaming this with workshops every month online. You can come into Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where our monsters will be every single month for 3 hours. We also have 2 destination summits, one in New York City in April and one in Cabo San Lucas in the fall, and then a big celebration. If you're interested in being a monster, come on and join us. You get the Monster Producer Planner, you get the book, you get the app, and you get me coaching the heck out of you to be a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market in 2015. Go to monsterproducer.com. 2015.